Okay, here we go. I am making a video for a question that was asked by Cobra 427 V8. I can't explain this in my comment section because it's a lot, but I'm gonna do my best to explain the question that you asked, and I'll do my best to explain why I do some of the things I do in relation to how the flake lays down and what you do to prepare for the next layer. The question he asked was, so when you layer down that silver flake, because it's so rough, what prep work do you do before the next layer goes on? Do you blow it down, and did you do 2 coats of clear on the silver before you sanded it? Okay, I'm going to start with the bottom of that question on the silver base. Yes, I put 2 coats of clear over the silver base. And I think that's what you're asking me. The silver base, I chose not to put flake on the dash panel of this bike because it would be blinding. If the light hit it just right when you're riding, the flake will blind the shit out of you. So this has just a silver base with 2 coats of clear on it. And you can see how nice it laid out. Now this piece, this particular piece, is going to get sanded again because it's going to be a candy color just like all the rest. It's just not going to have a flake on it, but it's going to be the same color. It's going to be a candy, and I'm actually going to do some shading inside the gauge bezel areas and the speaker areas, because just for an effect purpose. But going back to putting the flake down. So the next part of the question was, when you layer down the silver flake because it's so rough, what prep work do you do before the next layer goes on? So there's really nothing that you can do. You could knock the flakes down with your fingers. You can try and blow them down with an air gun. But you have to understand that it's urethane based, solvent based urethane clear coat. And I want to demonstrate by drawing some pictures here what this stuff does when you spray it down with flake in it, with huge flakes. So I'm going to draw this line here representing a surface, looking at it horizontally. Your flakes come down and they lay down like so. Every so often you'll get some that stand straight up. Some lay like this. And what happens is, over time, and I mean within minutes, they will start to lay down slowly, because the urethane it's gassing out and it's curing, but it still remains flexible. Now, in order for you to understand what I mean by it remains flexible, here is some clear coat that I mixed up just last week. And I used it on a project for my wife. And I used the urethane automotive clear on some stained wood for my wife. And I coated it with this clear. And I put it in the house. It's in the house. But anyways. Here it is. This is automotive urethane clear coat. It's polyurethane. For the whole life of this clear coat, it will remain flexible. So, the minutes of cure time, and even going into hours of cure time, these flakes will slowly lay down. Every once in a while, you get one that gets trapped and it cannot lay down, so it'll stand straight up. So then what happens is you put another coat of clear over top. And what that's going to do is it's going to create areas like this. And each coat that goes down, that area just gets a little bit better and better and better. So what you do next is you buy yourself some material by putting more down. So you're buying yourself space to sand. And I'm going to demonstrate right here on a piece. Because if you pick this piece up and you look at it into the light, it looks great. Okay, this area is flat. It's shiny. I even had a guy say, "Man, it looks like it would be done," but it's not done. It's not even close to being done. With this area here, when you sand it, you'll find those highs and lows. And what you want to do is you just want to knock it down until it is flat. So if you can see in the light, you can see the shiny and the dull parts of this. And that's basically what you're doing, is you're knocking down this layer here and you're just making it flatter and flatter and flatter. Now, this is going to get clear coated again and again. What you want to do is you want to sand this down to where it is absolutely flat without burning through. You don't want to burn through and take the gloss off of your flakes, or you don't want to take the luster away from your flakes by burning and sanding your flakes. And that's why you buy yourself more coats of clear. Now, this area here is flat as hell, but I assure you that it still looks like this underneath. And you'll get it back when you clear coat it again. So another thing, paints and clear coats from the 70s and 80s, when this stuff was really popular and there was a lot of metal flakes going down, there was a lot of candy colors, a lot of pinstriping going on. Those were old paints, and you couldn't pound on layers and layers and layers of these paints without it shrinking and cracking and eventually chipping off in big chunks. But these urethanes, you kind of can, to a certain extent. You can sit there and you can put down, I've put down 6 before, and I'm talking high solids clear coats, not medium solids, not low solids, high solids clear coats, which are really thick. I've put down up to 6 before, on top of everything else that I've already done previously before the artwork stage begins. And still, I didn't get any cracking issues or chipping issues. I've made a video, and I haven't posted it yet, about this piece here, this particular piece, and I'm going to post that up too, about areas of concern, which would be inside here when you're putting down that many coats of clear coat or any paint, how the edges would start to roll up as the stuff shrank. It would start to roll up and it would crack, and you would get flaking and chipping all along these areas here, because honestly, paint does not like areas like this. But if you prep it just right, you won't get any of that. So I hope that answers your question, and if you have any more, go ahead and ask, and maybe I'll just make some more videos explaining what you have to do, the process. I'm wondering if there's anything I missed here. But before the next layer goes on, that's one of the questions you asked, was the next layer. So if I had a surface, here's a horizontal surface, and then I had some flakes going down. Now these flakes here would be sprayed on. I like to spray them on with the base clear, so a carrier, not actual clear coat. Some are going to stand up, some are going to lay down. Yes. Now you can spray another layer of flakes right over top of this layer, and that's what I did here on this whole project. So these other flakes are going to layer down on top, like so. There's flakes going down. So then your next clear coat, you know, it'll come across like so, and you'll still get the highs and lows and the valleys and stuff, right? Now this is clear coat going down. Now another clear coat going down. And it will fill in the voids. But in the end, you're going to have to sand it. You're going to have to sand it down, especially before your artwork goes on. If I was to take some tape and try to draw artwork over rough area like this here, you're going to see at the hard line, at the edge, you're going to see highs and lows in your artwork. So that's why you want to get it flat, so you get a nice clean straight edge hard line on your artwork. Plus these things take time. So I sprayed this flake on these panels I think 2 weeks ago. So this clear coat is fully cured. Now, for me to put anything else over top of this, it has to be sanded down so that when I put the new artwork on and clears, everything will stick to it, especially the candy colors. So this has to be sanded down. This will get sanded. Everything here will get sanded. So another example of this would be, if I look at this panel here, I can see that it's not as glossy as these other ones. And that's an illusion of the highs and lows. What you're seeing is texture. And it's actually easier to see on these pieces here. You can see the, if I put my camera in the light, you can see a texture going on here. And this will get sanded. So I'll sand this right now for an example. And I'll try and clean it off. Try and capture the light when I do this. The light's really important. These pieces right here, these pieces were sprayed down when they were horizontal, and I would rotate them in order to capture as much clear coat as I can at a horizontal surface without getting runs. With it standing up vertical, when you lay down that clear coat really thick, you'll get some runs, which is no problem if you're going to sand it. You don't want that in your finished product though. And that's one of the reasons why you have to do this. So that when you do spray your vertical pieces, see how rough that looks? I mean, that's what you're working with. So you have to knock it down. So I have 4 coats of clear coat over top of these flakes. And I'm confident enough that I can sand this flat without burning through and sanding my flakes. So back to what I was saying about standing it vertical. You want a smooth surface when you're standing vertical. See, these are sanded down, right? Now, I would be confident to spray this piece vertical and get a nice glass finish out of it, because I don't have to worry about trying to pound the clears on to try and avoid running. So I'm going to end this on that. If you got any other questions about it, go ahead and ask, and I'll do my best to answer them. But this is the only way I know how to answer a question like that, by making a whole video about it. Signing off. Late.